Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you happen to be in the world. My name is Jason Hodgert, and I'm with the marketing department here at PCI Geomatics. I'm very happy to have you joining us here for our new brand new webinar in our series, all about deriving information from geospatial imagery with Geomatica and ArcGIS. This is our international timed webinar. It is Thursday, September 4th, either very early in the morning or very late in the evening, depending on where you happen to be in the world. Myself and Kevin Jones, the person giving the presentation today, we're both in Canada, in the eastern portion of Canada, so it's very, very early in the morning for us. But we're very happy to have you joining us wherever you happen to be in the world. I see that there's people from Spain, there's people from Italy, there's people from Japan on the line. So it's great. We've put together a presentation that we hope you enjoy. Like I mentioned, this is all about Geomatica 2014, our latest release, released in just June actually of this past year, and ways that you can work with imagery in Geomatica and bring that over into ArcGIS or other GIS applications and derive information from this imagery. So like I said, this is part of a series, and this sort of is going to give an overview of what you'll be able to do with imagery and GIS. And you're going to learn the various ways in which Esri's ArcGIS and PCI's Geomatica software tools can be used together to work with geospatial imagery to derive information for applications such as mining, urban change detection, natural resource monitoring, and more. We're going to show you how easy it is to integrate imagery into your projects and perform basic manipulations and even more advanced analysis, things that include DEM extraction, vegetation analysis, and emergency response webinar. One of the new things that we have in Geomatica 2014 is we've leveraged a Python API. I'm not sure if everybody out there is familiar, but Python is an open source scripting language, and this can be leveraged to connect ArcGIS and Geomatica directly, and this will allow you to develop purpose-built applications for very specific things that you're looking to do in your workflows. And we're going to have examples of what we've been able to do so far with that and some kinds of things that people have been working on. We also have some case studies that we're going to be looking at. There was a recent initiative that Esri and PCI Geomatics worked on together, and a number of organizations, a couple of which in the United States, have been using ArcGIS and Geomatica combined with data from certain providers. We had some RapidEye imagery and some RADARSAT imagery, and they've been doing some really great work and deriving some really useful information from imagery, and we're going to be going over some of those things later on in the webinar. So before we get on too much further, I just want to remind everybody, those of you that have not been on a GoToWebinar before, all your lines right now are muted, so you can talk amongst yourselves, click on your keyboard, do anything, and you will not be disrupting the presentation. If you have a question, at any time you can enter it in the questions panel. I know sometimes it can be, you might want to save the question to the end, but there's always a danger that you might forget the question, and so enter those questions into the panel at any time. Don't be shy. We will be having a question and answer session at the end of the presentation, and we'll queue up any questions that we get to ask Kevin at the end there. If you're having any trouble right now hearing the audio, or have a question you'd like to ask on air, you can raise your hand. There's a little symbol on your interface that has a little hand on it. If you click on that, it will notify myself, and we can attend to your needs there. Lastly, we are recording this session, so doesn't mean you have to leave. Stick around, because the live question and answer session and seeing this happen all in real time is of great value. But I do want to know that if there are any technical difficulties, or if you want to watch this again and share it with your coworkers at a later date, we will be recording it and delivering it to you in the next day or so following the session. Presenting today, We have me on the left. I'm your host. I hope you find me to be a gracious host. I will be giving the introductions, and we'll have a couple of poll questions throughout the webinar to make sure that what we're delivering to you is something that you find of value. And keep an eye on your chat panel. There will be certain portions during the presentation where Kevin will be discussing things, and I will be able to send out links to you where you can find more information during the presentation. So I'll be behind the scenes, making sure that everybody is able to hear us and everything is working well. And delivering the meat of the presentation, Kevin Jones. Kevin is the Director of Marketing here, and he's based in Gatineau, Canada with myself. Kevin has a Bachelor of Arts from Carleton University and a PMP certification from Project Management Institute. Kevin has worked in the geospatial industry for 20 years and has been involved in the design and delivery of tools and satellite imagery derived information products for applications in defense, public safety, agriculture, forestry, natural resources, and more. Basically, with what we do with imagery and what you're able to do with Geomatica, it crosses many, many vertical markets, as you're going to see in the presentation. Last thing from me before we get to the presentation is one of our polls. I'm going to have 2 or 3 of these throughout the presentation, and like I said, this helps us understand more about who's registering for these webinars and gives us a better idea of what we should be presenting down the road. So the first poll is, we are all about imagery here at PCI Geomatics and what you can do with it. So we're interested to see, are you currently using an image processing software package in your workflow? And if so, which one? And excellent. We have 4 choices there. Obviously, we would like to see many of you using Geomatica, but it is entirely possible that you're using some of our competitors or are not using or not processing imagery, or maybe you're just getting a processed imagery delivered to you, or you're just not using it at all. And we have actually a pretty good mix there on the poll. The live numbers are updating. I'll just give a moment to have people give their answers. Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for taking part in that poll. A quick share. Just over half of you are using Geomatica, which is great. We're happy to have a number of customers on the line. I see a number of you are using some of our competitors, and a number are not processing imagery. And this is also great. I think what you're going to see in this presentation perhaps will change your mind and get you to move over to Geomatica, or see the value that satellite and aerial imagery can have in your GIS workflows. So with that, that's it for me for now. I will be back a little bit later with a couple of more polls. But right now I'm just going to hand the presentation over to Kevin, and Kevin is going to show you all the great things we can do with imagery and GIS. Take it away, Kevin.
Thanks very much, Jason, and hello to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure to provide this presentation to you. We're really excited about presenting how Geomatica and ArcGIS can be used together to derive information from imagery. Imagery has been used so much recently. It's just incredible the amount of imagery that's available, that's being collected by different satellite sensors, new airborne. There's been a resurgence in terms of aerial photography, frequency of aerial photography, and just the ability to work with the data so easily because it's all digital now. And most recently, of course, we've seen the incredible developments with UAVs and the imagery that's collected. So it does make for pretty pictures, but we think that maybe there's some people out there who aren't working with imagery because they consider it to be a complicated science, something that's difficult to access, And hopefully through this webinar we give you a taste for how easy it can be to work with imagery and get more from imagery, meaning get more than just a pretty picture or a backdrop, and get information from imagery that can be supportive for decision making. We're going to focus on a few areas. And as Jason mentioned in the introduction, the follow-on webinars, so this webinar is part of a series of webinars, and we're going to take a deep dive or a more detailed look at each one of these application areas that we're providing an overview on today. So it's very exciting, some very nice case studies and examples that we've put together for you to follow up on and come back and have a detailed look on some of these applications. So the first four parts of my presentation, the first part of my presentation is going to look at some of these possibilities to extract information from imagery. We're going to be looking at mining and construction. Then we're going to look at agricultural information, how we can pull that information from imagery. We're then going to look at how we can manage disasters more efficiently. And we're also going to look at 3D city modeling with stereo data sets. We're then going to look at Geomatica itself in terms of a very powerful, flexible, easy-to-use tool for doing basic image correction. Those of you who maybe aren't leveraging the imagery that might already be available in your organization, we want to show you how easy it can be to work with the imagery using our software. It's quite easy. We're then going to look at Python. I'll give you an example of how Python can be used and how Python can be used to combine ArcGIS and Geomatica. And we're going to finish off by giving you a little bit of inspiration for what maybe you could be doing by showing you some case studies on this program that was mentioned, the Imagery Grant Program. And last but not least, we're going to quickly talk about a package that could be available to you depending on your eligibility to use the software that's being used in this webinar for working with imagery yourselves. So let's take a quick look here at our first application area, mining and construction information. Here we have a gentleman who's involved in construction, and this particular application is using change detection, but change detection on the elevation information that's derived from the multiple dates. And if we have a look here on this poster, we have several things happening. The background here is the actual location of the construction, and the red outlined polygon is the location that's being used to put some of the fill in from where this construction has occurred. This location here is where the new building has been put in, and this is the lot that's adjacent to that building where we've seen changes in the debris that's been put into that field, and maybe in terms of construction management, we need to measure the volume of some of this debris that's being put in. This could be very valuable fill material or gravel, etc. And so using remote sensing information, we can actually measure the volume of these different materials that are deposited on the adjacent lot. So here in the middle we see the actual data that has been generated or information that's been derived. We have three specific polygons where we've measured the changes in terms of cubic meters. So we have 488 cubic meters, 5,200, and just over 2,000 cubic meters of new material that has appeared between 2009 and 2011. So I'll just quickly jump to show you exactly how that looks in terms of the data set. So this is our Geomatica 2014 toolbar. And as you can see, we have our focus icon here. So I'll load up focus, which is our viewer. And the first thing I'll do is I will open up that project that I was just showing. So here's our data set. And you can see essentially what's happening is we have the imagery from 2009. So I'll just turn off the I'll turn off the mask for now. So here the construction has begun. We can actually see the cranes. We can see the shadows off the cranes, and we can see the material that's being deposited. We have this building here to the north, but the other building that's going to be added in is not quite there yet. And so here it is in 2011. So using Geomatica software and also using some 3D analyst capability from ArcGIS, we're able to derive the elevation from the data set. So I can very easily here just quickly show you how the DEM looks. So if we look at the DEM, here's a representation of the 2009 DEM. And we can see that that building is not present yet, and also that some of the debris that's being deposited in the adjacent field. I can turn the image on and off. And here, if I turn on the 2011 imagery and take a look at that, we can see our building, and we can see the debris that's being deposited and the changes in that. So if we wanted to actually quantify that and measure that, we can very easily do that using our software to derive the elevation and look at changes in elevation, and also calculate the volumetric information in ArcGIS. So that'll be the subject of our detailed webinar coming up on September 10th. So be sure to register for that if you're interested to find out exactly how that is done, and maybe also how you could do it with your own stereo data sets. In terms of agriculture, here we have an example of a farmer who can actually leverage the information that's collected from satellite imagery for managing crops in the field. So one of the key things with remote sensing imagery is we have information from multiple spectral bands. In particular, in this case, what we have is a very nice band, multispectral band from this satellite called RapidEye, which is a constellation of satellites. And it collects information from this red edge band. So the red edge band is quite sensitive to the health of the vegetation, and using our software we can actually calculate different vegetation indices very easily and derive information about the chlorophyll or the leaf area index. And so this particular webinar, which is going to be happening on the 17th of September, is going to focus on using RapidEye imagery, deriving information from RapidEye imagery to calculate stress on the vegetation. So I'll just quickly load that project up so you can get a sense of how this data set looks. This is an area in California where we have put together an example project. So I'll quickly load this up here. And so you can see that essentially we have quite a large area, and we've zeroed in on a few fields here in California where we've done this analysis. And so if I zoom in here to the actual location, we've calculated some leaf area index, some chlorophyll for a couple of different fields. And this is all done essentially using our raster calculator, which can be launched from inside the focus window. And we're essentially doing band math, or we're applying formulas for deriving these vegetation indices directly on the imagery. An important step, though, before we do that is to atmospherically correct the data so that we're looking at the actual surface reflectance that's coming into the sensor on board the satellite. And we use our very easy tool for doing ground reflectance calibration, which is called our atmospheric correction tool, which I've just pulled up here. Again, these tools are very easy to use. We have lots of examples on how to apply it with imagery, in this case with RapidEye imagery. And that will be the focus of our upcoming webinar this coming September 17th. So if I move on now to maybe a different scenario where we have information extraction, again from stereo imagery, this time for 3D city modeling. Here we have an urban planner who is perhaps responsible for looking at changes in urban areas and planning out where parks could be located, or dealing with the myriad of problems that, that urban planners are faced with. Really working with 3D city information, their job is just going to be so much more easy to accomplish because they can put together nice visualizations, perhaps do some scenario building into the future, and we have the tools to do this. And that's going to be the subject of our upcoming webinar on September 18th. And what we have here on the screen is a complete stereo data set of a location in Canada. So this is a mosaic showing the mosaic imagery. But these data are all collected in stereo mode. And so from that stereo mode, we can derive a lot of really useful information. The top layer here is the actual building information. So removing all elevation from the ground and just being left with the actual buildings. We can also derive the complete DSM with the height above sea level. We can filter these. We can filter the features off of the DSM and be left with the DTM, or digital terrain model. And what that allows us to do is to create really nice orthomosaics from the imagery itself that are quite accurate and can be used for displaying as well. Another part of our 3D city modeling tool, so we'll be showing you how to do all of this from start to finish in our webinar on the 18th of September. And the other thing that we'll be doing is we'll be deriving information such as this. This is a capability that is part of our software suite, which allows you to use stereo imagery to model in 3 dimensions the buildings that are located on the ground, or any 3D object that is visible within your stereo imagery. We can create a 3D model and drape the texture of the imagery on top of the wireframe. So here we have the wireframe outlines of the buildings that have been drawn in a software suite that we have available called 3D Feature Extract. And based on those mesh wireframes of the buildings, we can drape the texture on top of them. Obviously the texture on the roofs is very, very nice because we're typically working with nadir looking imagery or near nadir looking imagery. But we can also get some texture information off the sides of the buildings because the imagery is somewhat oblique depending on how it was collected. Another application area that we're going to be looking at is a disaster response. So how can satellite imagery, how can we use satellite imagery or air photo imagery to derive useful information for managing disasters? A classic example of that is flood mapping. In this case, we're working with imagery from RADARSAT-2, which is collected by a company called MDA, one of our partners. And MDA imagery, or RADARSAT-2 imagery in this case, is used over the Red River Basin in Canada, where there's a lot of flooding that occurs on an annual basis. And using, again, change detection techniques that are quite easy to apply within our software, we can derive the location of the flooding, and then we can go into more advanced tools such as ArcGIS to do spatial querying. In this case, we've done the intersect analysis on the road vectors to understand where the flooding is touching the roads and where it is not touching the roads, to perhaps plan support efforts for providing relief to some of these locations that are affected by the flooding. And so that'll be the subject of our upcoming webinar on October 1st. So I really encourage you to come back and tune in to these detailed webinars where we'll be giving a lot of great information on these applications. I'll quickly load up that project so you can get a sense of how that looks. So as I was mentioning, we have a number of layers that are part of this project. So the essential process is we start with a non-flooded imagery. So this is the reason this imagery is black and white is it's a synthetic aperture radar imagery. It's a SAR image, and it's not a panchromatic image like an optical image. It's actually an active sensor. And so we have a dry image, and then we have an image that's taken during the peak of the floods. And using those two data sets, we can perform very simple change detection. So here we have our change detection tool. We can select the base imagery, and then we can select the September, the data set from the flooding, calculate the changes very easily, and derive information that way. So I'm not going to run it right now. We're just giving you an overview today, but I just want to give you a little bit of a taste of what we're going to be showing in these detailed webinars. We're going to go into a lot more detail. We're going to show you how the tools work. We're going to show you how we did the analysis with ArcGIS, and really take a deep dive and show you how much information is contained in the imagery beyond just having it as a backdrop. So I'm going to pass it back to Jason for a second quick poll here, and we're going to go into some live demonstrations in a second.
Perfect. Thank you, Kevin. I'm not sure if everybody was able to notice, but as Kevin was describing these upcoming webinars and these application-specific areas, I was sending out links if you are interested in any of those future webinars, the mining, agriculture, 3D modeling, or the disaster response that we've spoken about so far. They should be in your chat panel. Something should have flashed on your screen, and I've sent out those links so you can register for them quickly and easily. Another quick poll. Basically, what we're looking at now is I know that some of you have mentioned that you're not using any software package, but whether you are or not, how often or how frequently do you come in contact with or work with satellite or aerial imagery? Perhaps you're like us and you're using it every day. Maybe it's once a week or once a month or hardly ever. Again, a pretty even split. About half of you, maybe the same half that are Geomatica users, are using imagery on a daily basis, and then some people are using it weekly. And we have actually a large portion of people who have chosen rarely as an option. And I think there might be a few reasons for that. You know them better than we do, but I think what Kevin has to show next covers off some of the reasons that perhaps people aren't getting the most they can out of imagery, and Kevin's put together some demonstrations to show how you can get more from imagery and perhaps use it more frequently to get more value in your workflows. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, Jason. And just quickly, I will make sure here. Sorry, is my audio working, Jason?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry for the hesitation. Okay, so here's the classic scenario, and we hear this a lot. We have imagery, but we don't use it because it does not line up. So if you are familiar with the situation on the left and you wish it was like the situation on the right and you wish it was easy to do, the good news is we're going to show you how that's done with a variety of data sets in Geomatica. That's really where PCI software is leading the way in terms of correcting imagery, providing automated methods for correcting imagery, as well as providing simple tools for doing so manually. We have a number of offerings available all the way from our Geomatica core software where you can do a lot of this modeling or image correction in a more manual way. But then we have some really excellent tools for doing this in a more automated fashion. One of the key things is collecting ground control points or GCPs in an automated way from some kind of a reference layer, and there's so many different sources of reference layers out there that it really is quite powerful what can be done with imagery these days. Once you have a good data set that's at a similar resolution, you can bring in all of your other layers and use automated image correction techniques to make everything line up. So I'm going to put you in a scenario here. Maybe you've been here before, and open up a website that has some imagery that maybe we want to use. So here's an example of some imagery that's out there, and the typical situation is these data sets are available, and if I click on here, I can see that there's an air photo image from 1945, and I can go ahead and download that. But the bad news is, if I load this up in focus here, I don't have any geographic information in this data set. So if I open up that data that I just loaded up from the web, and I want to work with it in a geospatial way, I don't have any geographic information here. I can certainly look at it. Maybe I can pull up a geographic data set and do some manual interpretation and draw some polygons and get some information, maybe make some annotations. But really, I'm not working with the geographic data set where if I have multiple data sets, one on top of the other, I can perform analysis. If I go back here, you can see that this particular website, as well as many others, has overlapping imagery from multiple dates. So maybe I want to study a particular phenomenon and look at that over time. And really, there's not an easy way to do that with this particular source of data. So we can actually take an image off the web and correct it using some of our more simple modeling techniques. So I'm going to load up OrthoEngine. OrthoEngine is our software tool that allows you to perform basic image tasks for image correction. So typically we can perform orthorectification or mosaicing or DM extraction. These types of tasks are what can be done with OrthoEngine. So if I go to my folder, I'll load up a project that I set up earlier where I have some of this, an image that's been downloaded off the web, and I'll just quickly take a look at this project. So the first step was essentially to start a new OrthoEngine project. I roughly estimated the resolution of the air photo to be 2 meters. I know this to be in London, Ontario, so I know what the UTM zone is. I'm making some assumptions about the projection. And based on that, I essentially I can load up the image. So here I have the image that's been downloaded off the web. And we can go get ground control from many different sources. What I did is I just went to Google Earth and I navigated to some of these locations using using my knowledge of this particular location. And I dropped some place marks on top of the actual locations. So I'll just go to one of these that's a bit more obvious to see. So this is a feature that hasn't changed in 60 years or so. This is a metallic railway bridge. And so if we drop place marks in Google Earth, there's multiple ways of doing this, other platforms and so on. I just chose this for simplicity's sake. But if I drop a pin, I can actually get the coordinates off of Google Earth, and then I can manually put those into my project in OrthoEngine, which is what I did. So I essentially went here in OrthoEngine, and so I'll just open up my ground control panel, and I'll navigate to that ground control. So here's that point on the railway bridge, and I approximated the location of that point, and I put the information into the system, the easting and northing. I really only needed 3 ground control points. In this case, I'm performing a polynomial transformation, which is a simple rotation shift approach for the imagery. And once I've collected my GCPs, in this case I only collected 3, I can essentially make an ortho from that. So I can pick my ortho here, and so within a matter of a few minutes, quite simply, I was able to produce the following, which I'll load up here. So this is the data set that I was able to create from the historical imagery. So here's the 1945 image that is now geo-corrected. So now if I'm clicking around here, you can see in my window that I have geographic coordinates, and I could overlay on other imagery on top of that. And the nice thing is now that I have a data set that is corrected, I can use it as a reference layer for the other images. So I'll just open up, I'll start up a new project here, and I'll open up a project that I did where I downloaded an image of the same location, this time from 1955, so roughly 10 years later. And in this case, rather than collecting the GCPs manually, what I did is I used the automatic GCP collection capability in OrthoEngine to collect GCPs off of the image that was previously corrected. So I'll pick the 1945 image. I can set the elevation to a constant layer, or I can use a DM that's perhaps available for this location, and then I can use our auto GCP technology to collect ground control in an automated manner. So you can see here in a matter of a few seconds here, it's going to search through the reference layer, try to match features up, and give me good GCP. So you can see that it collected, looks like close to 46 GCPs. And I can add those to the project, close that out, and then I can take a look at my my ground control points and see how they're distributed. So we can see here that we have some automated GCPs that have been collected across the data set. And then we could simply perform the geometric correction based on that. We do have the tools available for essentially inspecting the ground control points and making sure that we remove any outliers. So I'll just close that out, and I'll show you quickly here what I was able to get from this 1955 data set. And you can see that my 2 data sets are pretty nice. I didn't really put too much effort into this. Obviously, the more ground control that you collect and the better distributed it is across the location in question, the better the resulting model is going to be, and so on. So this is just a quick example here of how historical imagery, or any imagery really that doesn't have any information, any geographic information, can be corrected manually using, in this case, a strategy where we collect ground control points or reference points off a reference layer, in that case Google Earth. So really quite simple to use. Our software is very powerful and very simple to use. The next example I'll show you is maybe a little bit more typical. I know I'm not sure that everyone is working with historical imagery, but what I'll do here is I'll load up a data set that's showing the location, a location in near Toronto. So if I load this up, oops, sorry, I'll just load them up manually here. So if I load up these So here's a kind of a typical situation. So I'll load up the uncorrected imagery first. So oftentimes we have imagery that's provided to us, or it's sitting on a network drive maybe in our organization, and we don't know what the reference system is, or we have a situation basically where we can't quite see. We can't work with the data very easily because it doesn't line up across the different data sets. So I'm just going to zoom in here to a location where I can show you a problem that I had up on my slide. Sorry, I'm just searching for it. Okay, so it's along this highway here. Okay, so here's our exchange, our big exchange. And you can see that the vector layer is offset. Here we have a GeoEye image that maybe has lost the georeferencing information as it's been passed sort of from department to department. Here we have a ComStat image, and here we have a spot image. And each one of those is not exactly lining up perfectly with the vector. Actually, there's quite a bit of an offset. And the offset is different in each case. And so how would we correct all of these data sets so that they line up perfectly with each other, so that we can perform change detection analysis, or even manually pull information from the data set? That can be a bit of a challenge. So I'll show you a tool that we have available in our software that's quite powerful, that's going to be using, again, automated methods. In this case, it'll be collecting ground control points off of a Landsat data set. So here we have our Landsat data set that is available free of charge for download. And so what we can do is we can actually build a visual model, which is quite powerful. So all of the analysis that I was doing manually within OrthoEngine is possible using what we call our modeling tool. So here we have a project that is completely set up for automation. And I'm just going to start to run that project so you can get a sense of how quick it is. So I'm just going to go to my folder where I have this data set up, make sure it's empty. So here I'm going to have my data set, have my three images, my GeoEye, my ComStat, and my spot imagery be completely corrected automatically. So I'll just start explaining this project a little bit here. So this particular module is an import module where we have the three data sets coming in. So the ComStat 5, the ComStat 3, the Spot 5, and the GeoEye imagery that's coming in. We have a reference layer, in this case our Landsat 8 data set. And we have an elevation model so that when we perform our corrections, we can actually do what's called a thin plate spline, or a more advanced image correction where we don't have a satellite model, but we can still leverage the the 3D component of our GCPs to get more accurate correction. We then run each one of these images through an auto GCP algorithm, which is available. So that'll compare the Landsat 8 image to the input image. We perform some statistical grooming or improvements of the ground control points using this technique called the GCP refine. Then we calculate our model, our thin plate spline model, to properly correct the data set or properly calculate a model. And once we have our model set up for each image, we can perform the orthorectification, which is quite rapid, and export that out to the format that we wish to have. So you can see that as I've just been talking here for the last few seconds, the first image is already corrected. This is the GOI data set, and I'm going to load up a focus window so you can get a sense of how that looks here. Oops, sorry. So we now have our CompSat data that's already done as well. So I'll add that in. And the spot image should be coming in pretty quickly here. So once again, auto GCP from the reference layer, refining the ground control, performing the calculation on the model, the thin plate spline, and then producing an ortho-rectified image. So I'll just load up the reference information so you can get a sense of how accurate this is. So here's my road layer. And I'll just check in on my Spot 5 image. So it's just correcting it here. It's almost done. And if I zoom into a particular location, or if I zoom back into that interchange, we can see that we've got beautiful alignment, nice proper alignment within the software now, within our imagery. There's my Spot 5 image. I'll drop that in. So there's my Spot 5, my CompSat, and my GUI, and everything is lining up just perfectly. So if we want to do more advanced analysis, let's say we wanted to use this data within our GIS, again, the real power is using our Geomatica software for doing all of the image correction and then performing more advanced analysis in ArcGIS on particular imagery. Okay. One more thing I'll just launch ArcMap here. So I'm quickly going to talk a little bit now about the benefits of working with Esri and PCI in terms of the new Python integration. And I encourage you to visit this web address where we've actually made this project available for you to work with on GitHub. So you can definitely go there and download the source code or the script essentially that was developed using Python to combine ArcGIS and Esri, Esri's ArcGIS and PCI's Geomatica software together. So here we have the toolbox within ArcGIS and the algorithms that are available within Geomatica, and we actually put together a pretty neat demonstration of using the two software packages together to perform what we call, we essentially put together a billboard placement scenario. So the locations here are the potential locations of billboards, and what we want to know is how visible are those billboards going to be on the ground for people driving by? Maybe this helps us, if we're a company that's selling the ad space, how much we want to charge for those billboard ads. Obviously, this billboard here that has great visibility along the highway in both directions is going to be offered up at a premium, whereas maybe this one that's in more of a tight urban area is going to be sold for a little bit less. So I'm just going to load up that project and show you that. So essentially this entire analysis was done using Python, and it really leverages the capability of both ArcGIS and Geomatica. So what we have here are the locations where we would like to place the billboards. You can see here that we hypothetically place a billboard in front of the building, so obviously we can't see anything behind. Here the billboard is up on top, but there is some only a little bit of visibility on the top, and really doesn't matter because nobody can see it on the other side of the building. Here we have on top of a building in a more sort of dense urban area, and again here as well. So the process is using both software packages. In Geomatica, we use the stereo imagery to create epipolar pairs, extract a digital surface model, and then we pass that information over to ArcMap, where we do the visibility analysis. So we use the line of sight tool to understand where on the image the potential visibility of that particular billboard would be based on the surface elevation, so the digital surface model that was used. Then we do an intersect analysis, and we can produce some nice maps. We can run different scenarios, so we could actually edit these points, move them around, save the layer out, and rerun the program to see what effect it would have if we placed the billboards in different locations. And this entire project was done within Python, and is going to be the subject of another more detailed webinar coming up in a few weeks here. Jason's going to be providing all the dates. Sorry. Yeah, so that's essentially what that looks like in terms of combining Geomatica and ArcGIS. And I'll pass back to Jason, and then I'll be back one more time to give a little bit of a summary, and then we'll have some Q&A.
Excellent. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, I just wanted to mention I did send out the link to the Python webinar. I did not include the date in that. That is October 23rd. So a little more than a month or so away for that one. Really excited about that one, and feel free to register for that if you are interested. Now that we've seen the bulk of the overview, just want to make sure, like I said, that we are producing content that is valuable to you out there. So, having seen what we've presented so far. Which of the upcoming webinars are you most interested in seeing next? We have the Geomatic and ArcGIS mining and construction applications, agriculture, the 3D modeling, disaster response, and the most recent Python one. There are more webinars upcoming that I will speak to you about shortly as part of this series that we're kicking off. But definitely interested to know what everybody out there is interested in as well. Well, fantastic. Thank you, everybody. That's the last of the polls that I have for you today. Pretty even split. It seems like the agriculture applications is taking a lead, though. So big agriculture audience out there today. So those of you that say you're interested in it, by all means, check out the website, and you can. I'll just send out that link one more time, actually, just to make sure everybody got it. I'll be discussing more of the future webinars shortly, but I just want to make sure those of you that are interested in the agriculture, the majority of you there have an opportunity to look at that right now. To continue, I'll go back to Kevin to talk about PCI and Esri and our relationship and what you can do with that more so. Kevin.
Thanks, Jason. And I thought we would close here in terms of showing a little bit about our relationship together with Esri. We've been partners with Esri for a number of years now, and there's some information here on this slide. I won't read through it all, but essentially Esri came to PCI because they had a very challenging problem that they were dealing with. This is going back a couple of years now. When they stood up their ArcGIS online platform, they recognized the importance and the value of providing imagery content on that platform. And so they went about purchasing large amounts of uncorrected imagery from GeoEye. In fact, they collected 1/3 of the world's landmass in raw form, and they needed to correct all of that. And so they turned to us. They turned to PCI. We have really good technology for doing automated correction, as I mentioned. And in their case, they used our GXL technology, which is a scalable, high-speed automated system for working with really petabytes of data, terabytes per day, and really large amounts of imagery. And you can actually see a lot of this data sets, a lot of this imagery. If you go to ArcGIS online and you pull up the world imagery data set, chances are, if you're looking at some of the different areas of the world, that's actually imagery that's been processed through PCI's technology and then is served up through Esri's technology online. So we've been partners with Esri. They came to us several years ago. We provide technology, but we also do some really interesting programs together, and one that I want to highlight here is the Imagery Grant Program, something that we ran just about a year ago. We kicked this off, and the purpose of this was essentially to provide an opportunity for organizations to get familiar with imagery that maybe were not familiar with imagery previously. So we provided software, so we provided ArcGIS as well as Geomatica and some sample imagery over the location of interest for the particular people that applied for the grant, and that was essentially given free of charge. And the results of those participants, of those people who have done that work, is starting to get published now. And I just want to highlight a few of them for you right now. One of the case studies that has come out is the Denver Metropolitan University in the United States, and they had a particular research interest. They're looking at water in glaciers, trying to understand some parameters on glaciers a little bit better. So they actually collected RADARSAT-2 imagery from MDA. They were able to calculate elevation models, slope and aspect information using ArcGIS and Geomatica. And they also did some interpretation of landforms on the RapidEye imagery. And so you can see here, this is their study area in Chile, and they used both Esri and PCI software to perform their analysis as part of the Imagery Grant Program. Another organization that did work as part of this initiative is the Madison County Council of Governments. This is, again, an organization in the U.S., and they were interested in change detection over the urban area, and so they actually studied the surface temperature change from 1985 to 2010, and even further beyond in this county in Indiana. So they used both Geomatica and ArcGIS once again to perform this analysis, and this is some of the results that they were able to publish. So the reason we mention that is we do have right now a program in place, And if you're interested to find out more, so a lot of the demonstrations that I gave today used both Geomatica and ArcGIS to perform the analysis. And we do have available a special offer, a packaged offering that will give you access to both the software and a special price on the software and imagery for both RapidEye and RADARSAT imagery to perform some of this analysis yourself. And if you are interested to find out if you're eligible to purchase this combined package, please make sure to contact us. I've put our email address here. Send us an email or get in touch with us to find out whether you can also leverage some of this technology, perhaps at a more advantageous bundled price for your use. And I'll pass it back to Jason for wrap-up and Q&A.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Kevin. I hope everybody enjoyed the demonstration so far. Remember, now is the time to ask questions. I didn't see too many questions come in during the presentation, but if you have a question, I'll go through this wrap-up here, and I'll wait for a few more to come in. The thing you're seeing on your screen now is part of our big push. We're really excited about Geomatica 2014 and all the new features, and we've been getting a lot of great feedback on the new features. So what we've done is we're taking Geomatica on the road, and this is a series of events. You are attending one of them right now. Live events and webinars that are focusing on specific user groups and application areas that you can do with Geomatica. One thing you can do is you can visit getgeomatica.com. I'll send out that link right now for more information. And when you get to getgeomatica.com, that image you see there that says "We're on the road," big red button, that will take you to the road show, and it has a list of all the upcoming events that we will be doing and registration to all the upcoming webinars, including the ones I mentioned earlier. This is our international timed webinar, so we do have some events coming up soon. We will be in Berlin, October 7th to 9th at Intergeo. Later, October 27th to 31st, at the end of the month, we will be at the Asian Conference of Remote Sensing, and that is in Myanmar. And of specific interest, I know we have a number of Italians on the line. We are having a user group meeting on October 10th, and I know that registration is limited, but I'll send out a link right now. You can get more information through our authorized reseller in the area, and I know some of the people that work there are on the line right now. So you can visit that link or go to sisdecoitalia.com for more information about how you can join the user group meeting. Now I do see somebody, I don't see a question in the panel, but I see somebody with their hand up. Excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, but it looks like Jackie or Yaki Mike. Is there? I can unmute your line briefly if you have a question you would like to ask. Jackie Mike, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
It's concerning the auto ground control point. I kind of lost track when you're talking about it. So I was wondering if you could go back and show you this demonstration as to how you carried out the function.
Sure, absolutely. I'll just remute you so the feedback stops there. Kevin, could you give a re-explanation or about the auto GCP you were doing?
Yeah, sure. So essentially the auto GCP techniques, there's a few different techniques available in our software. It's a statistical matching technique. So what we're doing is we're actually converting the data into the Fourier domain.
Muted.
And based on that conversion, we then look for areas that are highly correlated statistically. This method is quite powerful because it actually is able to collect ground control in areas where maybe the human eye would not be able to discern them. Things like rock outcrops or particular tree stands or things like that that are statistically very, very similar but visually difficult to pinpoint. So that's essentially the technique that's being used. There are other techniques for GCP collection, but that's one of them. And so for image-to-image correction, identifying those GCPs automatically. But then if you're working with a large collection of imagery, you want to collect what are called tie points to block, bundle, adjust multiple images together as one big block. So we have a lot of information about that, and we'd be happy to provide it to you if you wish. We will follow up with you directly. Thanks for the question.
Unmuted.
Excellent.
Sorry,
thank
Jason,
you.
back to you.
Yeah, no problem. I had my line unmuted there for a moment. Okay, I do have one question came in through text, and it's a good one. People are looking to find out more information, and what we have is we have a new site that a new page on our website that makes it very easy to find out where you can buy and the pricing and who to speak to get more information no matter where you are in the world. So if you go to the link I sent out there now, it's pcigeomatics.com/buy-now, so in English BUY-NOW. It simply brings up a map of the world, and if you can locate what country you're in the world and click on it, it will bring up either the authorized reseller in that area or a link to one of our direct sales representatives that would be very happy to help you with a purchasing or more information about that. I also see someone else has their hand raised, and again, I apologize if I'm not saying this correctly. I have a Kolawole Idawu. I'm going to unmute your line briefly and see, do you have a question you would like to ask? Okay, it does not look like there's a question there to be asked, or the person there does not have the proper microphone set up. I see another question here requesting, wondering if there is student licensing or student pricing. We do have an educational package, and there is student licensing, student pricing available, depending on what version the school actually has. So you can absolutely contact us for more information, or contact your authorized reseller. And Kevin can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you are a student at a accredited university or college that has Geomatica and is teaching with Geomatica, depending on what level of support the school has with us, whatever the arrangement the school has with us, there is a possibility for a free student license. But the details, there is a form actually that you can fill out to request. And actually, Kevin, I'm not sure if I'm missing anything on the student licensing there. I'm sort of glossing it over very briefly.
Yeah, no, I mean, basically, if you're a student and you want to use our software, we'll make it happen. So just get in touch with us. I believe the particular person that's talking to us is from Germany. So I'm just going to pull that up right now. So we do have a reseller in Germany, CGI Systems, which I've got up on the screen now. So you can get in touch with Karen Engelhart from our reseller network, and she'd be happy to answer your question, and we definitely want to help you out.
Perfect. Thank you, Kevin. And there we go. The person that is helped out greatly. We did run a little bit past the top of the hour. I hope that's okay for everybody. Thank you for the questions. Thank you everyone for joining us today. If anybody has any further questions, you can always email us at info@pcigeomatics.com or marketing@pcigeomatics.com. And by all means, check out the new webinars that are coming up later this month. Visit us at the events we'll be going at throughout the rest of the year, and we hope to talk to. Oh, hold on! Before I go, we do have another question. Possibly, this is Jackie again, or Yaki. I'm not sure. I'm going to unmute your line and go ahead, Mr. Mike.
Okay. Based on the student licensing. In our school, we don't use Geomatica, and I don't know, I was wondering if I'm not available for me in particular for at least a reduced cost or, if possible, free. But
Yeah, so I'll take that one, Jason. So absolutely, we can definitely work something out. What I suggest is you get in touch with us. I think you're in Nigeria. We do have a reseller in Nigeria that can answer your questions. But by all means, feel free to contact myself, and we would love to have you using our software, and we can make that happen. There's a few other questions, Jason, on learning to use the software and training, and I thought maybe it would be good to highlight the training resources that are available. We do have under resources and support on our website, if we go to training, we have this nice information here. We offer courses online, so these are actually pretty inexpensive. These are like $200, I believe they are, $200 to $300. And you can register for those and take those courses online. We do online, we do in-person training. We do less of that, but we do offer it. And the really nice thing here is this set of resources that's available to you free of charge. These are the books that we use to teach our software, and they're quite good. There's 4 different books that you can download completely free. And they have step-by-step examples of how to use our software, and it's quite easy to learn the software using these course books. And of course, we have a lot of resources available as well. We have step-by-step tutorials available on our website. You can see some of them here. They're organized by the different application areas. And you can head over to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of videos available on our YouTube channel, if I just bring that up here. A lot of really good information out there that's available to learn Geomatica.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. I think we have the questions. I apologize. I tried to speak to somebody who had their hand up, could not get the microphone working. I did send you a private chat message. If anybody out there does have any questions we weren't able to get to today, by all means, email at us at any time, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. All right, well, that is it for us for now. Thank you, Kevin, for putting together and delivering the demonstration. Thank you to each of you for joining us, and I sincerely hope to have each of you and more join us down the road for the future webinars coming up later this month. Have a nice day, everyone, and we hope to talk to you soon.